Hey guys, I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Make sure you subscribe, comment, share. It really helps me out a lot. I know we're small, but we're awesome. There's something I want to talk about, but you guys are about to see my mic break in real time. Holy shit, dude. That could have been real bad. Oh my god. You guys just witnessed that in real time. I feel like my life just flashed before my eyes. Oh my god. This thing is not... I mean, oh my god. It is like so loose everywhere. I'm so sorry. But it's my trusty crappy mic and I love it. But that just scared the shit out of me. Can't believe that I haven't talked about it sooner. Willow, okay? The Willow series on Disney Plus. It is so good. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. I always say there's two types of people usually. Those that grew up on Labyrinth and those that grew up on The Neverending Story. Sometimes there's crossover, but usually you like find one. Whoa, sorry, Dragon. Normally you find one later on in life. I was a Neverending Story kid, but then found Labyrinth when I started making friends, okay? You picking up what I'm laying down? But then there's those few that have seen the trifecta and or at least know what Willow is. Willow is great. Willow is awesome. Willow is what Warwick Davis got to do after he did Star Wars and met George Lucas. This just shows even more how much George Lucas really loves world building and is very good at it. And it's a jam. It's a jam of a jam, for sure. Willow. And then this series comes out. And I got concerns about it. And me and Mom thoroughly enjoyed it. We had such a blast watching. I'm telling you, we were like counting down to watch Willow. We were like, man, we were having so much fun watching Willow. Why is Lois telling me I'm acting silly as fuck? I'm literally in the middle of recording right now, but watch Willow. Watch Willow. It's so good. Everybody needs to be watching Willow because it's such a jam of a jam. God, you made me fuck up where I was at, Lo. What the fuck? I don't know what just happened there, but we were so geeked to watch this, and I forgot how much I loved the movie. It's very good. It's really good. The practical effects work. I'm pretty sure it might be Ron Howard's first, directing debut, but I could be lying about that. But once again, like I said, George Lucas with his world building, he set a perfect template for them to make this series. At first, I'm like, I kind of hate all these. I like that both kids are like their dad. They're both like Mad Mardigan. That's the one qualm I have. What was the issue here? Why didn't we get Val Kilmer in here? Where was Mad Mardigan? Because I didn't like what they did with that. That was my biggest issue with it. I'm like, really? Val Kilmer want to come back to do this? Or would you guys not pay him? Because he needs to be here, especially after I rewatched the movie. Both of the kids have attributes like their mom and like their dad, and I like that they didn't just make it like, oh, the boys like him. And it was like, no, they both, she's a bit arrogant and kind of a dick, and her buddy is the girl from... Now, here's my thing. Disney, can you guys cast new people? I love, Tony, who comes in later. He's in Spider-Man. He's Flash Thompson. He's great, but you guys keep using the same people, and it's the girl from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I like her a lot, too. But she's, in the Royal Guard. We learn of all the characters real quick, and this is a continuation, so it's after the Willow movie ends and what goes on later. We have Mad Mardigan and the Queen's son, and he's rolling around in the hay with some girl we don't know, but it ends up being the baby from the movie, the magical baby, the one who's going to save us all. But she doesn't know it yet. She's just a cook. She's just a little kitchen maid, and she's rolling around with Mad Mardigan's son. Mad Mardigan's daughter is training to fight with her friend who ends up being her girlfriend, or it's like a romantic interest, but at first it's kind of shown they're just buds because she is being betrothed to somebody, Tony Ravioli coming in, Flash Thompson. I really like all of these actors, but you just keep using the same ones over and over again, and I'm like, can you give somebody else a shot? I really liked everybody, and they did a good job establishing all of them very quickly, and Willow getting this vision that shit's about to hit the fan, it's going to get bad. Very rarely is a show aimed at teens or young adults self-aware enough to be like, no, you're being a little ass right now, you're being a little prick. And this show does that very well throughout it. It's a coming of age story, but they don't shy away from going stop crying about that shit and stop whining about that, and sometimes life's hard and yada yada yada, and they don't just go oh yeah, poor them. When they act a fool, they get told what the deal is, and I like that. And a lot of times it's left up to their peers to do that, and unless it's Willow. So you don't see that a lot. And I thought that was really well done. But the first episode just really establishes who's who and what the deal is. By the end of the episode, the brother, Eric, gets snatched. He gets snatched up by the evilness. So we have his twin sister, who was just being betrothed and acted a fool and was like, me, I don't want to get married. And then her mom is like, yeah, you're being a little punk about this. And this whole time in the background, we have this girl that works in the kitchens who's Alora. So now we have the quest. We have Alora, who we don't know is Alora yet, going after the boy she has a crush on because he got snatched. Then we have the boy's sister wanting to save him and prove herself and be like, I don't gotta take no orders. And her friend, who's like her royal guard. It's like her queen's guard, but also her romantic interest. Either way, now we have a purpose, right? We're all going after the brother / the crush, whatever. And we need to get Willow. But we also get Borman added to the group. And I really like Borman, and that could come off weird, having like the adult thrown in, but he plays it so well. I don't want to say it's kind of like Taika Waititi, but I don't know. I liked Borman's character a lot, and it made sense to have him there. It worked. It also showed like kind of a little bit of Arrested Development, if you got to kind of face stuff, but we see it in an adult, and I like that. I liked Borman as a character a whole lot, but in this one we get to go and finally we're really getting into going to get Willow. Now I'm pretty sure the daughter in the show, in the series, Willow's daughter, is his daughter in real life, which I think is adorable. But in this episode, we mainly have Alora finding out who she is, everybody finding out that's her. Kit's they're kind of building this like animosity this rivalry between Alora and Kit that ends up like the way it works itself out. I was very impressed with everything about this. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm really excited because they're going to do 2 more seasons, I think. Second episode's all about finding out who Alora is. Willow really wants to train her and wants to wait. Kit's like, no, we got to move it. We got to save my brother. And the whole time Eric is in this weird, dark towery hellscape, and I was calling that. I was like, oh, that's grandma. When that girl showed up, I was like, oh, sneak rat stuff going on here. And it was just disturbing, and it was just unnerving where it was real creepy, and I really liked it. And I really liked the practical effects they used. Everything about this series was great. Kit's acting like a jerk. Willow tells about the prophecy that everything's going to go to shit if he doesn't step in and try and fix everything with Alora, and they defeat evil. And like I said, it's more of just figuring out, oh my God, we're with Alora Dannon. But at the end of that episode, we figure out that Alora can do magic. She just hasn't figured it out yet. She needs to have faith in herself. Okay, episode 3 was a little weird. There was a couple things that were sluggish and weird, like that episode 3 and the woodcutters, and that like they felt just shoved in there. And then I felt like the jail stuff took way too long, and they needed to move it there. So it's not perfect, but it is fun. It's a grand old time. There were some big things we figured out, obviously, in episode 3, though. Like, Borman finds the shrub, and that Alora grew. Alora got snatched. That was kind of dumb. Kit and Borman are talking about the magic armor that Borman and Mad Mardigan, her father, Val Kilmer, where are you, went to go seek out and find. And it's kind of like Thor's hammer, where if you're worthy, it'll make you invulnerable. But I kind of thought that was going to be a trick, and that the truth was like you just believed in yourself. But then it really did end up being a thing. But I liked. It was a lot, but like I said, it's for kids too. You have to remember that, and the amount of callbacks to the original movie weaved in so organically. I don't think I've seen something do it that well. I will definitely say Kit was an ass. Like, it took a minute for a few characters to warm up to me, but after seeing where they took them, I did end up liking all of them in the end. But the end of episode 3, when they had Metallica kick in, I almost died. And I really loved the way they were using music just at the end, because that can be played out when you do covers of songs all the time. But when Enter Sandman kicked in, I was like, what? And I was like, this is so cool. Like, this just works. For some reason, this just works. And that's when we get to see Nockmaar Castle. And oh my God, that ending was really cool. For a not as good episode, the ending was sick. And then we pick right up there in episode 4, which I really liked and was really creepy. And like I said, the practical effects in this are really, really good. Like Cagehead, some of this stuff was genuinely scary. Willow genuinely scared my cousin, who was a couple years younger than me, so bad at a sleepover that her mom or my aunt had to come pick her up. And Willow's it's practical effects. It's kind of it's scary, and this didn't. It wasn't total CGI, and I really appreciated that. Like, you could tell that these actors were on a set. That never happens anymore. They're all with green screens and domes, and like, you could tell this is a physical set at some points, and it shows, and I love it. Oh, that's his name, Graydon. Graydon is the prince that was going to be betrothed to Kit's bitch ass, being a jerk. That's Tony Ravioli, that's Flash Thompson. Yeah, his name, Graydon, that's his name. And we end up finding out he's all jacked up with some stuff, and I knew something was up with him, and we end up finding out about the flip side that he was working for, but I knew something was up with him in magic. He was just off. Essentially, he's gonna die, and Alora and Willow save him instead, but it's this really creepy running around this castle, and mind changes you, and you gotta it will, if it gets inside your mind, it can mess with you. It's kind of like The Shining a bit. It was, I really liked this episode a lot because it was a total like flip of how the tone was completely and just visually. Episode 5 I could have done without. We see, well, but I didn't hate it. It was a fun little thing, but it was more of like we get to take a little breather. We're all in the woods. We see Borman's girlfriend from before and this new group of people in this bright forest setting now after Knockmar Castle. But it was a fun little episode, but I think I took a nap through it, honestly. I will say seeing Graydon and Alora get all close was really sweet. I really liked their relationship. I genuinely enjoyed that. And it really showed, like, hey, sometimes you're not always going to like the first guy you have a crush on. Even though we know what ends up happening. He ends up being on the bad side or flip-flopping or something at the end. Now, episode 6 was the mines. Now, I thought this went on for way too long, but it was genuinely funny at points. And we get the Mad Mardigan weird, your dad's stuck here, is he dead, is he alive thing going on. And I really didn't care, but I should have because I love Mad Mardigan. But whatevsies, it was just taking too long. But we also get the special armor that Borman had been talking about. But then we get to the weird, once we get out of that, the falling into the water part was real. That was wild looking. That was crazy. Oh my god, but Christian Slater shows up. And it's great. He has a great little cameo in it. That was fun. And then I was like, wait, are you going to flip-flop him out for Val Kilmer? Because we're not going to do that here. And but still, I liked seeing him. That was fun. But Alora loses her wand, so then she's like, man, but the truth is, like, you don't really need that because you're super powerful, Alora. Believe in yourself, you know? But she drops her wand. She thinks she's screwed. Christian Slater's there. This is starting to sound like a fever dream. They're finally escaping across that orange lake, and Kit goes under. That was genuinely creepy, but I was like, whatever, you could go. But then, like, Eric's calling to her from that creepy, hellish Groundhog Day, scary tomb, ancient ruins he's in. But we have Kit underwater. We don't really care, kind of. And then we hear... or we go to Eric, her brother, and he's drinking the way he was drinking that orange goo water was real weird and real gross. That was unnerving. That was really unnerving. I did not like that, him drinking that goo, but the second he did, I was like, oh, you're in for it now, buddy, because now it's like the same as like a Pan's Labyrinth or anything, like when you go through it, like you never want to eat or drink whatever's right there because it's normally a trap. So I was like, oh, and that's when he starts hearing like, help me, and this girl's like, oh, I'm trapped, and it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not trapped. BS. I really liked the episode Beyond the Shattered Sea. I really liked this. The Mud Skipper. Really loved that. The creature design in this, very cool. The fight in this, I really liked that. This one was like a real mind F. Like, it really was. And like I said, this is a kids show. Like, remember that. It's a kids show on Disney+. So I'm like, they're touching on some stuff that I really didn't think they would. And they're being pretty violent and stuff, and I'm here for it. I'm loving it, and I really like it. And if you're a fan of Willow, the movie, then you'll be a fan of this, I think. Is it Citizen Kane? No. Is it fun? Yeah. Does it have some slow parts? Yeah. But I really liked this episode. Like, it was just creepy and eerie, and I liked it. And it's like, oh man, what are we gonna... It's almost like the Swamps of Sadness part, where Artax, the horse, dies, and Neverending Story, it's like, we can't give up, but this is so rough. And then we get to the end, and when they did the jump over the waterfall, like... That's what love is. It's faith, and they leap. I really liked that a lot. It was cheesy, and I loved it. But visually, this was really appealing. I really liked the sky and the water and the sea. That was really cool. I really liked all that. There was a bunch of montages of magic and stuff. Oh, yeah, and Graydon's doing magic now. And like I said, we end up knowing he does little flipsies at the end and whatever. But, yeah, it's more like training montages. And it's like, oh, man, we're almost there. And we're going to get there soon. But I did love that cheesy jumping over the waterfall shit when we got there. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But we do get, like, backstory on... Sorcerer's mom, a.k.a. the evil queen, a.k.a. the girl with Eric right now that is looking young, and that gets weird when you start thinking about it. So it's his grandma, really. But we end up finding out about, like, her kingdom of Kashmir having beef with his kingdom and how that became a problem back in the day, and he sympathizes with her, not knowing, like, oh, we're the bad guys to you, and really you are the bad guy. Oh, and Alora finally got Kit out of that damn water, but I don't think anybody was really that excited about it. But Kit, I feel like Kit does redeem herself. I can't remember if it was episode 7 or episode 8, the finale, that had, like, the wedding and the mind games going on, but I really liked that a lot. And you, like I always say over here, you can always tell when somebody's not your mom. You know your mom. And I felt like Kit was like, you ain't my mom. I know my mom. You would know your mom, and that you ain't her, you know. And I really like the way they made Alora and Kit come together. I did. I liked that. But then in the finale, it's just straight up fighting in this. We're fighting the crone who has taken over Eric, and he's cut his hair off, and he looks like a Disney prince now. And it's real weird when you start to think about the bloodlines there. But I thought overall this was a really cool episode, and it was kind of just action from start to finish. And when we first start off fighting with the crone, it's just Eric, Kit, and now she's got her special armor on, and whatever. The thing ended up working for her. And Alora, they're the three squaring up with the crone at first. And then we have the other group deciding to take their leap of faith and show up. And at first we don't think Willow's going to show, and then he shows, and it's great, and it's awesome. And then we're fighting the crone through this tomb stuff, and it's awesome, and I really liked it a lot. The thing they're really worried about isn't just the crone, it's the worm, which feeds on, like, the life force of the world, and we don't want the worm to get big and awaken. That's what we don't want to happen, and that's what the crone is trying to do, okay? Now, we have Graydon doing his flip-flop thing, but then later on, we'll get to that weird vision stuff. What I really, really did like a lot was that Willow is pumping up Alora's confidence. Like, that's what he knows, like, she needs. Like, and I like that some characters, all these characters are very different, so it's like, that is what Alora struggles with. Not Jade, not Eric, not Kit. Like, they are pretty confident. Alora's the one who's, like, a little timid, and so I like that he's like, no, that's a strength, it's okay, be confident, and then she finally hits the crone with a big blast. But we also have Kit and Eric fighting, and she's begging him to please stop being possessed, you know, like, cut the shit, dude, you're my brother, I don't want to kill you. And I really liked their fight, and like I said, by the end of it, I did like Kit. So we find out that Graydon's bad and grabs the wand, but he ends up having a change of heart, and he gets snapped out of existence by the crone, and he gets sent to, it's kind of like in Loki when they get sent to, like, wherever the hell that is, or like the upside down a little bit, but we don't exactly know where he is, and we'll get to talking about that, like I said. But he's out. Alora's upset. First they got to take on the crone, and then it's the worm that we're really worried about. And, like, I do feel like every character got their, like, licks in really well. I thought this was a fun finale. I thought it was a jammin' time. I was like, I don't want this to end. But I did. I liked it being Alora with her confidence, Kit having to get over her arrogance, Jade trying to prove herself, to know that her worth matters, and Borman knowing that he's worthy, but maybe that's not exactly why he's there. Maybe he's meant for a different purpose, and taking care of everybody. And I really, really loved this, and Willow is so good, and Warwick Davis is so good, and I really loved it a lot. I really did. I had such a good time watching this, and I feel like if you're a fan of the movie, you will like this. But then we get to see I don't know if it was after the credits or just the ending, but Graydon waking up on the same battlefield that Willow has been seeing in this bad, terrible vision the whole time. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, so he can't stop it. And it's kind of like when Tony Stark sees all the Avengers dead. But somehow Graydon's there, so it's like, where did you get snapped to? So did she save you? Are you a bad guy? Are you a good guy? What's going on here? But I don't even really know what you want to call this video, because I'm just like, is it the greatest thing ever made? No. Is it sluggish at some points? Yeah. Is this a pretty fun series that I didn't know that I needed, that I didn't know that I wanted? I didn't know that I wanted the Willow series that I really, really enjoyed. But if you ain't got nothing to do, if you have 2 feet of snow on the ground and you're in the Midwest, throw Willow on. It's a good time. And like I said, the practical effects are sweet. It's like nostalgia, and some of it, yeah, it's cheesy, but it's a good time. I really liked Willow. I really like this a lot. And if there's one thing I've realized, like I said, it's that George Lucas definitely can world build. And actually, do you want to know what? Watch the movie Willow first. I'm going to review that next. Watch the movie and then watch the series, because the movie's so good, but I'm happy with Motor City Nerds. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I don't care what anybody is saying about this show. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Mom had a good time. We were rushing to watch it. Willow, it's great. Oh, I'm on OnlyF. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all the stuff. It's all down below. I'm really bad at it. And I'm going to be starting a podcast soon, like totally separate. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a good time. But, yeah. I hope everybody stays safe out there, and I don't know, do you want to know what? Everything's going to be all right, guys. Everything's always going to work out. Yeah.